Best-selling author Sir Terry Pratchett has died at the age of 66. Sir Terry was best known for his Discworld novels, which started as an affectionate parody of fantasy novels and became a vast satire of modern life. The books won him legions of fans all over the world. In 2007, he was diagnosed with a rare form of Alzheimer's and spent the last few years of his life campaigning for more funding for research into the disease. He gave this interview about dementia to the BBC's Nick Hyam in 2013.
Angered was the word, which is why very soon afterwards I told everybody on the planet that I'd got the disease, which is a kind of Alzheimer's, I think you'd call it. And with me, it's going rather slowly. And I don't know why that's happening either.
What's it like in your head now? As you're talking to me now, what's going on in your mind?
Well, the trouble with that is that I'm inside looking in, which is a bit of a difficulty. You must see what I mean. It means I'm in there, so I can't really see.
His friend, the author Neil Gaiman, has been speaking to the BBC.
Terry loved his readers, and what was fun was slowly the literary world caught up with him. You had people like A.S. Byatt who would actually point to Terry and go, you know, he's an amazingly good writer technically, and he's also saying huge and important things, and none of you are noticing because he has funny Josh Turby covers, and there's magic in the books. Terry was happiest writing. I'm the kind of writer who loves having written and quite likes being about to write. Terry, on the other hand, was in his element when he could control the world, and he would do that by imagining, do that by inventing. And for me, the best times I've had with Terry were times when my phone would ring and I'd answer it, and he'd say, "I've just written a good bit, listen to this." And he'd read out what he'd read and leave me devastated with laughter.
Emily Witten co-founded the first North American Discworld convention. Emily, what was your reaction to the news?
Well, I of course, like everyone else, I was devastated to hear it. We knew that he has had Alzheimer's for some time and had not been doing as well, and so I wasn't completely surprised, but it broke me today to hear that he was not with us anymore.
There's been some wonderful tributes to him.
Yes, everybody has been online just sharing an outpouring of love and admiration for him as a person, his work, everything that he gave to this world. And he literally changed people's lives, including my own, by his work as well as his personality. Can you tell us when you first met Sir Terry? Yeah, I went to a book signing in my neighborhood in 2005, and I just in my little local place there was a little sign saying he would be there, and I said, "Oh my gosh," because he was my favorite living author, and he was doing a Q&A and a signing, and I'd never been to a Q&A and signing with an author before, and I wanted to ask him a question, and so I waited because I didn't know what to ask, and I didn't want to ask something silly. And he mentioned the UK Discworld conventions in his Q&A, and I raised my hand, and he called on me, and I said, "I'm really jealous. If we did a convention here, would you come?" And he said, "Absolutely." So then when I got my book signed, he gave me his email address, and I met him at the signing and then began talking with him over email about the possibility of doing a convention in the United States for his Discworld series and for him.
And he was really involved in that process, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, he always wanted the conventions to be put on for the fans and by the fans. So in the day-to-day of planning, he didn't get very involved, but he would share little bits of input or ideas and encouraged us to look to the UK conventions that had been going on for ideas on how to plan, and certainly was extremely supportive. when we announced registration for the 2009, the first convention in 2009, we announced it during the 2007 National Book Festival in D.C., and Terry was there. And for it, we didn't have any official merchandise yet, so I had hand-painted a couple of shirts that said, the North American Discworld Convention. And I was on the National Mall with Terry, and I said, Terry, I was wearing mine, and I said, I painted you this shirt. You don't have to wear it. And he looked at me, and he said, I don't have to wear it. And I said, no, but I just thought you might like it. And he said, hold this. And he gave me his bag and his hat, his big black hat, and his badge that said he was a guest at the mall at the book festival. And he took off his shirt in the middle of the National Mall. And while he was changing into this T-shirt that I painted for him, he looked at me and he said, if a fan came up to me now asking for an autograph, they would run away screaming because he was there with his shirt off in the middle of the mall. But he put the shirt on and he wore it for his talk and 7 hours plus of signing for fans and dinner that night. And so he was very supportive of the conventions, and he always wanted to be there for the fans, myself and all the many, many other fans who came to see him during signings and during the conventions, and he was always very giving to the fans. So that's a little favorite moment of mine of one of the things that he did in that way.
And if you could just quickly, Emily, if that's okay, sum up one Discworld book that people should read, what should it be?
Yes, well, my two favorites that I really can't choose between are Night Watch and Wintersmith. And Night Watch is the Vimes book in which Commander Vimes goes back in time to his youth, and it's an amazing work of involving human nature and the examination of things that go right and wrong in life. And then Wintersmith is also quite amazing.
Thank you so much, Emily Witten on Sir Terry Pratchett. That's it from me. Up All Night. We'll be back tomorrow from 1 a.m.